Hi, I'm Sean Gannon, and this is Minute Math, and today we're learning about solving one-step inequalities by multiplying and dividing. Solve each inequality and graph its solution. Now, if I was given this inequality.
Minute Math, when you need help you use Minute Math.
Negative 4m is greater than or equal to negative 4. To get m by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4. M is now by itself and it's positive, but when we divide over an inequality, the sign flips. So m is now less than or equal to, and negative 4 divided by negative 4 is a positive 1. So we have m is less than or equal to 1. We got to graph that. Let's put 0 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. All right. Closed circle is when it's equal to, since m is equal to 1, we put a closed circle right here at 1. M is less than 1 as well, so the arrow goes to the left, and there we have it. Our final answer, m is less than or equal to 1. N over 5 is less than or equal to 2. First thing I want to do is multiply 5 to both sides. That will eliminate the 5 in the denominator on the left, giving n by itself. We're still less than or equal to, and 2 times 5 is 10. Now we have to graph. Let's put 10 here. We got 11, 12, 13, and 9, 8, 7. Well, they tell us that n is less than or equal to 10. The equal to sign means we have a closed circle right there. Less than sign means the arrow goes to the left, and there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. N is less than or equal to 10. Negative 4, r, is greater than 16. To get r by itself, I need to divide both sides by a negative 4. R is by itself now, but when we divide over the inequality, the sign flips. Greater than becomes a less than sign. 16 divided by negative 4 is a negative 4. So now we have r is less than a negative 4, and we need to graph it. Let's put negative 4 here, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and negative 5, negative 6, negative 7 right here. So r is less than negative 4. Well, it's not equal to negative 4, so that means we have an open circle here at negative 4. The less than sign means the arrow goes to the left, and there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. R is less than negative 4. N over 2 is less than 0. To get n by itself, I need to multiply 2 to both sides. The 2's get eliminated on the left, giving me n completely by itself. We're still less than, but 0 times 2 is 0. So now we have to graph this. 0 right here, 1, 2, 3, and then negative 1, negative 2, negative 3 right here. N is not equal to 0, so we have an open circle there at 0. N is less than 0, arrow goes to the left, and there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. N is less than 0. X over 5 is less than or equal to negative 3/5. Well, I want to get x by itself. First step in doing that, multiplying both sides by 5. 5's eliminate on the left, giving me x by itself. It's still less than or equal to, but negative 3/5 times 5, these 5's end up canceling out, and we have a negative 3. So now let's graph it. Negative 3 here, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and negative 4, negative 5, negative 6. Since x can equal negative 3, we put a closed circle right here. X is also less than negative 3, so the arrow goes to the left, and there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. X is less than or equal to negative 3. X over 2 is greater than or equal to 3. First thing I want to do is multiply 2 to both sides. The 2's will cancel out here, leaving me x completely by itself. X is still greater than or equal to, and 3 times 2 is 6. So now we have our answer. Let's graph it. Let's put a 6 here, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. x can equal 6, so we have a closed circle right there at 6. X is greater than 6 as well. Arrow goes to the right, and there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. X is greater than or equal to 6. 14v is less than or equal to 14. Well, first thing I want to do is get v by itself. Now, v is being multiplied by 14. Opposite of multiplication, division. Divide both sides by 14 here. And v is now completely by itself. Still less than or equal to, and 14 divided by 14 is 1. So now let's graph it. Put a 0 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and negative 4. Let's make it even. V can equal 1, so that means we have a closed circle at 1. V is also less than 1. That means the arrow goes to the left. And there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. V is less than or equal to 1. B over 6 is greater than 14. Well, since b is being divided by 6, to get 6 to the other side, we need to do the opposite, which is multiplication. Multiply both sides by 6 here. 6 cancel, and b is left by itself. We still have a greater than sign, and 14 times 6 is 84. Now that we have our inequality, let's graph it. 84 here, 85, 86, out of order there, 87, 88, and 83, 82, 81, and 80. Well, b is not equal to 84, which means we put an open circle there at 84. b is greater than 84, which means the arrow goes to the right, and there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. b is greater than 84. A over 6 is less than negative 13. First thing I want to do is multiply 6 to both sides. This gets me a completely by itself. We're still less than, and negative 13 times 6 is negative 78. So now a is less than negative 78, and we just have to graph it. So let's put a negative 78 right here, and that'll be a negative 77 here, negative 76, negative 75, negative 79 here, negative 80, and negative 81. A is less than negative 78. It is not equal to. That means open circle here at negative 78. A is also less than negative 78, which means the arrow goes to the left. Now our graph matches our final answer. A is less than negative 78. N over 3 is greater than or equal to a negative 6. First thing I want to do is multiply 3 to both sides. 3's cancel on the left, giving me n by itself, still greater than or equal to, but negative 6 times 3 is a negative 18. So now n is greater than or equal to negative 18. So let's graph this. Negative 18 here, negative 17, negative 16, negative 15, negative 19, negative 20, negative 21. N can equal negative 18, which means we have a closed circle right there. N is also greater than negative 18, so the arrow goes to the right. Now we have a graph that matches our final answer. N is greater than or equal to negative 18. Negative 10x is less than negative 80. First thing I want to do is divide both sides by negative 10. Divide by negative 10 here, divide by negative 10. X is now by itself, but remember, we're dividing by negative over the inequality. The inequality is going to go from less than to a greater than. It flips. Negative 80 divided by negative 10 is a positive 8. So now x is greater than 8. We need to graph it. 8 here, 9, 10, 11, 7, 6, 5, 4. X does not equal to 8. So that means an open circle here at 8. Weird looking 8, I know. X is greater than 8, arrow to the right, and there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. X is greater than 8. K over 13 is less than or equal to 6. I want to multiply 13 to both sides. This will get me K to be completely by itself. We're still less than or equal to, but 6 times 13 is 78. So now we have k is less than or equal to 78. Let's graph it. 78 here, 79, 80, 81, and 77, 76, 75. Don't need that there. All right. Well, k can equal 78. So that means we have a closed circle here at 78. K is also less than 78, which means the arrow goes to the left. And there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. K is less than or equal to 78. 4, x is greater than or equal to negative 20. Well, first thing I want to do is divide both sides by 4. Divide both here, 4 here, and 4 there. And x is now by itself. We're still greater than or equal to, but negative 20 divided by 4 is a negative 5. Alright, so if x is greater than or equal to negative 5, we need to graph it. So put a negative 5 here, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, and negative 6, negative 7, negative 8. Alright, well, x can equal negative 5, so that puts a closed circle right there at negative 5. X is also greater than negative 5, so the arrow goes to the right, and there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. X is greater than or equal to negative 5. 60 is less than negative 10a. First thing I want to do is divide both sides by negative 10. Divided by negative 10 here gives me a by itself. Now this inequality flips though from a less than to a greater than sign. And 60 divided by negative 10 is a negative 6. I like to write this with a first. So we flip everything again. A is now less than negative 6. Negative 6 greater than a, same thing as a is less than negative 6. So let's graph it. Negative 6 here, and then we have negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, and negative 7, negative 8, negative 9. A is less than negative 6, so not equal to, right? Not equal to negative 6. Open circle here at negative 6. A is less than, arrow goes to the left, and there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. A is less than negative 6. 8 is greater than 8n. To get n by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 8. N is by itself on the right, because the 8's cancel. Still have a greater than sign, and 8 divided by 8 is 1. But let's flip this to have n come first. If n comes first, 1 greater than n is the same thing as n is less than 1. So let's graph it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. If n is less than 1 and not equal to, open circle at 1. Less than 1 puts the arrow to the left, and there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. N is less than 1. 0 is greater than or equal to negative 2p. To get p completely by itself, I need to divide both sides by negative 2. Negative 2's cancel on the right, leaving me p by itself on the right. Since we divided by a negative over the inequality, greater than or equal to sign flips to be less than or equal to. 0 divided by negative 2 is still 0. Now, I like to rewrite this to have p first. So if p is written first, the inequality flips again, and it's greater than or equal to now to 0. So 0 is less than or equal to p, same thing as p is greater than or equal to 0. So now let's graph it. 0 right here, 1, 2, 3, and negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. If p is equal to 0, that means we have a closed circle and 0. P is also greater than 0, arrow goes to the right. There we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. P is greater than or equal to 0. 24 is greater than or equal to negative 4n. To get n by itself, I need to divide both sides by negative 4. Negative 4's cancel on the right, giving me n completely by itself. 24 divided by negative 4 is a negative 6, but since we divided over the inequality, that inequality flips from a greater than or equal to sign to less than or equal to sign. I want to have n always written first, so n comes here, and we flip everything around. So again, less than or equal to sign flips back to greater than or equal to, and the negative 6 is right here. So now let's graph it. Negative 6, this is negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, and negative 7, negative 8, negative 9. If n is equal to negative 6, we have a closed circle here at negative 6. N is also greater than negative 6, so the arrow goes to the right. And there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. N is greater than or equal to negative 6. 4x is less than or equal to 40. I want to divide both sides by 4. This gets me x completely by itself here on the left, and it's less than or equal to 40 divided by 4 is a 10. So we have x is less than or equal to 10 now. All right, so let's graph it. 10 here, 11, 12, 13, 9, 8, 7. Well, if 10 is equal to, or x is equal to 10, that means we have a closed circle at 10. X is also less than 10, so the arrow goes to the left. And there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. X is less than or equal to 10. Negative 10 is less than r over 8. Well, to get r by itself, I need to multiply both sides by an 8. We're still less than, 8's cancel on the right, and r is by itself. 8 times negative 10 is negative 80. But I'm not done. I like to have r written first. So if r is written first, inequality flips back to a greater than sign, and we have a negative 80 here. So now r is greater than negative 80, and we need to graph it. Negative 80 here, that means negative 79, and negative 78, and negative 77. Negative 81, negative 82, and negative 83. Well, r is not equal to negative 80, which means we have an open circle at negative 80. R is greater than negative 80, which puts the arrow to the right. And there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. R is greater than negative 80. M over 3 is less than or equal to 5. First thing I want to do is multiply 3 to both sides. This gets m completely by itself on the left, and we're still less than or equal to. Now 5 times 3 is 15. So now m is less than or equal to 15. Let's graph it. 15 here, and then we have 16, 17, 18, and 14, 13, and 12. M can equal 15, which means we have a closed circle at 15 there, and that's my daughter, right? You can't see her in the camera. And it's less than right there as well, so the arrow goes to the left. So there we have it, and our graph matches m is less than or equal to 15. Negative 2 is greater than or equal to n over 3. First thing I want to do is multiply 3 to both sides. This gets me n completely by itself on the right here, and 3 times negative 2 is a negative 6. Still have a greater than or equal to sign. I like to have n written first, so we flip everything. Greater than or equal to turns into less than or equal to, and then negative 6. So negative 6 greater than or equal to n is the same thing as n is less than or equal to negative 6. So now let's graph it. We have negative 6 here, and we have negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, and negative 7, negative 8, negative 9. N can equal negative 6, which means we have a closed circle here at negative 6. N is also less than negative 6, so the arrow goes to the left. And there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. N is less than or equal to negative 6. 7 over 3 is less than or equal to p over 3. To get p by itself, I need to multiply 3 to both sides. 3's cancel on the right and cancel on the left. 7's by itself as well is less than or equal to p. Let's rewrite this to have p come first. And so 7 less than or equal to p is the same thing as p is greater than or equal to 7. Now let's graph it. 7 here, 8, 9, 10, and 6, 5, 4. Well, p is equal to 7, so we have a closed circle here at 7. P is also greater than 7. Arrow goes to the right, and there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. P is greater than or equal to 7. B over 2 is less than 7. Well, I want to get b by itself, so first way to do that is multiply 2 to both sides. 2's cancel on the left, getting me b now by itself. So less than, and 7 times 2 is 14. So b is now less than 14, so we need to graph that. 14 here, 15, 16, 17, and 13, 12, 11, and 10 here. If b is not equal to 14, we have an open circle. b is less than 14, so the arrow goes to the left, and there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. b is less than 14. Negative 12 is less than 3x. Well, to get x completely by itself, I need to divide 3 to both sides. We're still less than, and x is now by itself. Negative 12 divided by 3 is a negative 4. But I want to write this as x going first. Negative 4 is less than x is the same thing as x is greater than a negative 4. So now let's graph it. Negative 4 here, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, and 1. Negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8. Well, if x is not equal to negative 4, we have an open circle at negative 4. X is greater than negative 4, so the arrow goes to the right. And there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. X is greater than a negative 4. 42 is greater than x over 16. To get x by itself, I'm going to multiply both sides by 16. 16's cancel on the right, giving me x completely by itself. 16 times 42 is 672. We can rewrite this to have x come first. So the same 672 is greater than x is the same thing as x is less than 672. So let's graph it. 672, 673, 674, 675. Whoops, that's a 75. Right? 671, 670, and 669. All right. Well, if x is less than 672, that means we have an open circle here at 672. All right, well, because it's not equal to, okay? Less than means the arrow goes to the left, and there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. X is less than 672. V over 29 is greater than or equal to negative 350. Oh, sorry, just negative 35, okay? We want to get v by itself, so I'm going to multiply both sides by a 29. We're divided by 29. Opposite of that is multiplication. 29's cancel on the left, giving me v now by itself. It's still greater than or equal to, but negative 35 times 29, a positive 29, is negative 1,015. So now let's graph it. Let's have negative 1,015 here. That means a negative 1,014 here, a negative 1,013, negative 1,012. We have a negative 1,016 here, negative 1,017, and negative 1,018. V is equal to negative 1,015, so we have a closed circle at negative 1,015. Don't let the big numbers fool you. Same process. V is greater than negative 1,015, so the arrow goes to the right. And there we have it. Our graph matches our final answer. V is greater than or equal to negative 1,015.
Minute Math, Minute Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. Minute Math, Minute Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. MinuteMathTutor.com.